Hi there, and welcome to episode 2 of the Careerist Confidential, where today we'll be talking about 5 creative ways you can look for your next role in 2020. Now, why do you have to get creative in your job hunt nowadays? Well, quite simply, the market is really competitive, and in most situations it's actually very saturated. So you want to make yourself stand out and you want to make yourself memorable. You have 20 seconds when the recruiter or the employer looks at your CV or resume to make an impression. So make those 20 seconds count. Here's 5 ways on how you can do that. So the first is consider yourself as a candidate for a role. You're not just another applicant. So as a candidate, you need to do all the research that you possibly can. Look up the company annual reports, look up any media coverage that they may have had recently, or look up any scandals they might have been involved in. And then think about who you can connect with in the company, right? So what is the typical employee profile of the individual that company you want to work for employs? And then go into your LinkedIn and try to find a connection within your network. If you don't have a connection, then go into their company employee profile and find someone you think is somewhat approachable. Approach them and ask them, hey, can I have 15 minutes of your time? I'm looking for a role in this company. I'd love to get your insights. I bet you they'll say yes. So the second way is what I call value-based coffee chats. Remember the days of informational interviews? Well, those are great and you can still apply them. And basically this is a reinvention of that old concept, if you like. Now that you've done all this research on the company that you want to work for, it's time to get your creativity rolling. Now you have to think about what can you bring to the table? What value can you offer them at this stage before you even become an employee? So you increase your value proposition tenfold even before the interview. So maybe come up with some ideas that they can implement, maybe strategies or even observations that you have had. Whatever to make yourself stand out. Number 3 is what I call active referencing. It's no longer sufficient to have a line in your CV or resume that says references available upon request. That's old school. I mean, obviously references are available upon request, otherwise you wouldn't be applying for the role. But these days, you want to simultaneously, as you're applying, have someone you know within your network or even outside of your network applying on your behalf, writing a note, telling the employer that they have worked with you and this is their assessment, this is their experience working with you professionally and personally. This strengthens your application tenfold. Number 4 is using social media as your springboard. Now, how do you use social media professionally, you might ask? Well, similarly, as we use social media to promote our businesses or even just to tell our friends and family what we like and what we love, you can use social media to tell your potential employer what you're really good at. Highlight your superpower. Tell them what your brand is. This is what I'm made of. This is what I like. This is what I showcase in my free time. Imagine what I would do for you if you're going to be paying me. If you're an engineer, for example, code something, design something. If you're in IT, for example, or if you are in PR, design a campaign that's worth mentioning, that's worth sharing. If you're a graphic designer, do illustrations that really stand out and then blast it across whatever social media platform that appeals to you or that you think your potential employer will see. And you might want to include this as a small link at the end of your CV where you say interests, for example, or you want to highlight it in the video that you've made at the beginning. Whatever it is, however you choose to highlight it, this makes your CV or your resume stand out. And number 5, last but not least, is what I call the new age CV and resume. Now, it's no longer enough to come up with a boring, badly formatted, black and white resume that's just stagnant, right? These days, you need something more dynamic. Maybe introduce the element of video, maybe format it differently, maybe use stronger words. But whatever it is, remember that recruiters and employers, they look at hundreds of CVs. And so you want to make your 20 seconds count. You want to make sure that your CV looks good, it looks professional, you make a great first impression, and then you want to try and build a connection as quickly as possible. So maybe it is that there's a link for you to press or a short URL that they can see a video where you introduce yourself, or better still, where you say, here's my name, and here's what I can bring to the table. Here's some ideas that I have. So you've already built a connection, and that's going to be a great in for you to get the interview. And when you get that interview, well, that's the best connection that you can have. Anyway, that's all that we have time for today. I hope these tips were useful and that you use them. If you need more, watch out for our next episodes every Monday on YouTube and IGTV. Until then, have a beautiful day.